Here is one simple hack that will help improve your cycle fitness. And the nice thing about it is that it doesn't involve spending a load of money on carbon pedals, aero frames, or losing some weight. What we're going to talk about is cortisol and the way our body produces cortisol when we are stressed, and specifically the stress that comes from training really hard and what we can do to overcome that. And we're going to talk about it in relation to ashwagandha, which is a herb which will help reduce that. Stick around though, because this is incredibly important. And sometimes we look at trying to save weight and increase watts by oiling a chain or waxing a chain, when what we should be doing is trying to look at how we increase our own aerobic capacity and our general size and performance of our engine. So this is why it's incredibly important. Let me start at the beginning. When we train really hard, we can produce a hormone called cortisol. We produce cortisol naturally. It's the thing that helps wake us up in the morning. So your cortisol production has a cycle that in the morning after you get up, your body starts producing cortisol, which is a hormone which helps keep us alert and wakes us up in the morning. What we do though is when we are training really hard and we are stressed and we produce that stress, we also produce cortisol, and this can actually have a few negative side effects that will affect us in terms of a fitness and a performance point of view. Right, let's start. If you train really hard, you will get a TSS score on Zwift or Training Peaks, which is effectively how much stress you've put through your body. If you train nice and easy, that score might be quite low. The more amount of time you train, that score might edge up a little bit. If you train super hard and you do a race or you do a really hard training session, that score might be really high. And it's something that you probably haven't really paid too much attention to until hopefully now. That stress score is basically to do with how much effort you are putting in, and as a consequence of that, your body will be producing cortisol. But the interesting thing is that it's producing cortisol outside of the time that it should actually be doing it in terms of your regular hormone cycle or your circadian rhythm, which helps us go to sleep. And that's the first effect of cortisol. It has a huge effect on how well we sleep and the quality of sleep that we get. I'm just going to throw up a few little things here. First, we have my sleep and my sleep quality, my resting heart rate and the amount of time and quality of sleep that I get after doing a hard Zwift race in the evening. 6 or 7 p.m. at night, hard 30-40 minute Zwift race, trying to go to sleep. My sleep quality is hugely affected, and that's one thing you can see there. Also, if I put this one up, this is from when I did 100 miles really fast, or tried to do my 100-mile PR over the summer, and you can see you can directly see just how poor my quality of sleep was the evening after that. Now, why is this important? It's important because cortisol directly affects our quality and depth of sleep, and we need to have good quality deep sleep to help recover and improve. Obviously, the more that we recover, the more often we can train, and we can actually train at a higher intensity. So if you're trying to do 2 to 3 intense sessions a week, or 2 intense sessions and a nice long ride on the weekend, if you are not recovering properly, you are not getting the most out of your training sessions. And ultimately, you are basically not being as efficient as you could be. And this, guys, is way more important than deciding whether you're going to wax your chain or not, because those 1 or 2 watts that waxing a chain might save is nothing compared to how much you can actually improve the engine that is your aerobic system. The second effect of cortisol is that if you train too hard and produce too much of it outside of your regular circadian rhythm, you actually inhibit the way that your body responds to testosterone, and you end up producing less. Testosterone is needed to help us recover and build back muscles and repair so that we can actually improve. If you reduce that, or if that is reduced, then you are definitely doing yourself a disservice and you're not going to get the most out of your training. So ultimately, what I've been looking into is this herb called ashwagandha, which, give me a sec, I've come across, which helps reduce or helps handle the way that your body responds to cortisol. We want to make sure that we have the right amount, and we want to make sure that the training that we're doing is not overstressing our body, and we are able to get good quality high sleep. First and foremost, I was buying it from Raw Living as a simple product, and then just throwing that into a shake or something when I take that after a training session or in the morning. And I do that every time, every day. But more recently, I've come across this product from the guys at Veloforte, which is effectively a protein shake that incorporates ashwagandha into it. Ashwagandha is a root herb that basically helps negate the effects that cortisol have on the body, and it basically keeps us more regulated. The first thing that attracted me to the Molto Veloforte shake was obviously the fact that it incorporated ashwagandha into it. The second thing is obviously it is a protein shake, so you are getting a lot of your main nutrients that you need to help recover anyway. If you are training hard and you are trying to improve, I definitely recommend taking it on 1.6 to 1.8 grams of protein per kg of body weight, and you're trying to fulfill that every day. So something like this actually comes in perfect as that kind of double whammy of not only having ashwagandha, which is going to help you negate the effects of cortisol, which we get from training really hard, but it's also going to help provide the protein that you need to recover and rebuild those muscles. So let me sum this up for you. We produce cortisol in its highest quantity in the morning around 9 a.m. It helps wake us up and keeps us alert. If we produce that in the evenings, it's something that really kind of disturbs our sleep pattern. And I personally find that I will go to sleep because I'm tired, but I will wake up an hour or so later because that's my circadian rhythm. Every 90 minutes, you cycle through your little sleep pattern, and then I get really awake and I'm really alert. And if that's something you struggle with, then you definitely want to look into a product that involves or includes ashwagandha, the herb. What we also want to do is try and make sure that we have as much testosterone in our body as possible. I've also done a video on this another time that might be worth checking out if you want some more information on that. But the more testosterone we have, the better we are at repairing and rebuilding our muscles. And that's something that doesn't really need a huge amount of explanation, or we won't go into this time. The reason that I really like this is because it includes ashwagandha as part of a protein shake, so you can just take it a couple of times a day. I actually like to have a small one in the morning and a small one in the evening after training. Ultimately, the goal is to try and improve the way I sleep and the way that I recover. Now, I talk about something which is a training triangle. Ultimately, triangles like that, obviously, you have sleep sits at the very bottom, and it is the most important part of your training triangle. After sleep, you have your nutrition. On top of your nutrition, you have your training. And then on top of that, you have things like the quality of your bike and all that kind of stuff. The reason it's so important is that if your triangle is small because your sleep is not very good, that is going to have a knock-on effect on everything else, and ultimately your training is not going to be great. The better quality of sleep has such a big effect on your hormones and how you develop and how you improve as an athlete that you're going to be able to do more training simply by changing that largest block of what your training is. So you have your sleep on the bottom, then you have your nutrition, then you have your training, and then all the little other things at the top. You want to make sure that that bottom of your base of your triangle is as large as possible so that you can really kind of get the most out of your training, and it's something that will definitely kind of subconsciously, or you won't really realize that you are suffering with until you actually address these things. So I definitely recommend giving it a go. Go and check these guys out. I'll put a link in the bio, link in the description for you to have a look at them and this particular product so that you can give it a go yourself if you want to. But I thought I'd clue you guys in on just how important cortisol is, how it negatively affects your testosterone, how it negatively affects your sleep, and how important those things are to you as a cyclist. And this is definitely, the fact that it contains ashwagandha, it's definitely one of those little cheeky hacks that I think will help you improve, and it's certainly helping me improve as I am looking for those little marginal gains, and especially it's nice to have a marginal gain that doesn't involve buying more carbon. Guys, I will see you guys on the next one. I will put some references down in the description so that you guys can check out some studies yourself and give it a read. Let me know what you think, and I will see you guys soon.